Kia ora, this is TOA Henare from New Japan Pro Wrestling. You're listening to the Tapped Out Wrestling Podcast Network.
Hello and welcome to the Pro Wrestling Personified Podcast. I'm your host, Louis Carlin, and we're part of the Tapped Out Wrestling Podcast Network. And on today's show, I'm very excited because we have one of the best young stars in the world of professional wrestling. He's currently signed to New Japan Pro Wrestling. I'm very excited to have him on. I'm a big fan. And on top of that, this is his podcast debut, so I'm very proud that I'm the first to be interviewing my next guest. So please help me welcome Toa Henare. Toa, welcome to the show, my man.
Kia ora, kia ora. E hoa, that means hello, my friend, in my native language.
All right, well, it's great to have you, man. So what's been going on? I've been watching your matches on New Japan World. I know you have you're doing magic with Tomohiro Ishii, and we'll talk about him shortly. But what's going on in the world of Toa Henare these days?
It's been a pretty big roller coaster ride since I got back from injury last year in the tag league. It's been a busy year. I think I've had over 40, almost 50 matches this year so far.
Wow, so that's yeah, and I've been watching your matches, like I said, on New Japan World, and you're really one of the best young stars. I'm enjoying every single match that you're in, especially when you mix up with Ishii. But before we go into Tomohiro Ishii and New Japan Pro Wrestling, what made you decide to become a professional wrestler in the first place? Was it a specific wrestler? Was it a show that you saw? So what led you to want to become a professional wrestler?
I think it's the same as most wrestlers' stories. You grow up watching it as a kid. I grew up watching it with my cousin. I think it was in New Zealand. We got wrestling shows about 6 months to a year after it aired in the US. So I think Friday, Saturday night would be watching WCW, WWF, and just from there, every kid loves wrestling. Every kid at one point wants to become a wrestler. At least the idea passes his mind. So it's always been in the back of my mind.
Sure, no, me too. I grew up watching wrestling. I'm a little older than you, so I started watching in the late 70s, actually. And growing up in New York, WWE, WWF as it was called back then. And I wanted to become a professional wrestler, but I stopped growing at 5'3", so I figured maybe it's not the best option for me. Yeah, so who were some of your favorite wrestlers growing up or when you were watching? I know you said WCW. Was it Sting, Lex Luger, Ric Flair, of course? Who were some of your favorites growing up?
Yeah, the big ones. Like when you're a kid, you're drawn to all the fancy-looking guys. So I loved Sting while I was a kid. I think I watched WCW a lot more.
Okay.
Which is where the Japanese influence came.
Okay.
I think more. But with WWF, obviously The Rock. Every Polynesian kid is drawn to The Rock. Everybody. There's a big joke that everybody in New Zealand claims to be The Rock's cousin or nephew or niece.
Okay.
So pretty much if you see a brown boy, Polynesian boy, he's going to claim to be related to The Rock somehow.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a big fan of The Rock. I remember when he first came on the scene as the blue chipper, Rocky Maivia. And I'll admit, I didn't like him at first, but when he became the blue chipper, when he turned into The Rock, and then I became a huge fan. So definitely a tremendous wrestler in The Rock, and he's doing great movies right now. I kind of wish he was still wrestling, but he's on to bigger and better things. So you're from Auckland, New Zealand, is that correct?
Yeah, hometown, Auckland, New Zealand.
Yeah, so growing up, actually, I grew up there. When I was growing up watching wrestling, the WWF, there's another wrestler from Auckland, New Zealand. I don't know if you're familiar with Tony Gurria. Is he a popular name out there?
He used to be. Back in the 70s, 60s and 70s, wrestling was humongous. You're obviously aware that rugby's the top, but back in those days, wrestling was like the second sport that everybody was into.
Okay.
It was huge. They'd sell out stadiums. They'd do it all the time, but 80s and 90s, wrestling kind of died in New Zealand.
Okay, yeah, because that was...
when everything became networked, not networked, pay-per-view, TV, network, cable, etc. Sort of died in New Zealand.
Okay. Yeah, because I was a big fan of Tony Gurria, and just wanted to bring him up. Growing up, he was he was always, tag teaming with someone, and he would, I know, champion with Rick Martel, Larry Zbyszko. So he's a popular wrestler here in New York City. So I just want to bring that name up. So you said the wrestling scene was kind of dying. So what's the wrestling scene the professional wrestling scene like now in New Zealand? Is it starting to pick up a bit, or is it has it died out, or?
I'd probably get shot for saying this, but the indie promotions there are still quite small. I think they've been running for 15 years or so right now.
Okay.
But they're not really drawing any more than 100 or so per show, if that. So there's not really a big scene.
Okay.
But now that we've got guys all over the world, we've got Jay White, we've got myself, we've got Folair, Travis Banks in the UK, along with TK Cooper, they work for Progress, and Johnny Idol from CMLL.
Okay.
So we've got a bunch of guys. We all started in the same class, and we're all around the world. So I think there's a lot of potential to grow the New Zealand scene just from that.
Okay. So when you decided you wanted to become a professional wrestler, where did you seek out training, and who trained you? Because I was reading that you earlier on you were wrestling for a company called Impact Pro. Of course, not the Impact that's here in the States, but Impact Pro. So what was where did you seek out training, and question, who trained you, and how did you find the initial training to become a pro wrestler?
So I started as a freestyle wrestler. High school wrestling.
Okay.
And so that's where I got my first real athletic start. I also played rugby, and I just heard there was a tryout to become a professional wrestler. Rugby season was coming to an end, so I went to the tryout for Impact Pro Wrestling. Got through and then trained there, and that's where I met Fala.
Okay.
Yeah. So Fala would come to our nighttime trainings and our shows sometimes. He'll be booked, they'd book him on shows. And I think the first show he wrestled at in New Zealand, he came up to me and said, hey, what are you doing? You should go to Japan. And I told him at the time, I think I was maybe 19 or 20.
Okay. I
told him, look, I gotta finish uni before I do any of that. And a few years later, I finished uni, give Fala a call, and start training for this.
That's Bad Luck Fala that you're talking about, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a mean guy. I mean, I see him on when I'm watching on the computer. I get scared watching him, and I'm in the safety of my basement, but I get scared when he chases the referees out all the time. You don't want to. He doesn't seem like the type of guy you want to get angry in real life. So.
Oh no, man. So you've probably heard Kevin Kelly talk about it on the streams, but the first time I ever trained with him, this was I had just come out of the National Wrestling Camp. So here I was with a big head, big ego. I thought, I could take this guy. He's not a freestyle wrestler. Mm-hmm. So I had a little sparring session. And about 20 seconds later, he picks me up and slams me on my back.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
That's a lesson learned there, huh?
First training, he destroyed me.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So
I know you mentioned he told you that you should be in Japan, and you said you weren't ready. So when did you feel you were ready, and what led to the signing with New Japan Pro Wrestling?
To be honest, it was I'm the first person in my family to have gone to university.
Okay.
So I just wanted to make sure I finished university before I tried wrestling properly.
Okay.
So I finished uni. Fala told me there was a trial, New Japan trial in 2014. So pretty much the whole 2014 I was training for the New Japan trial, which I ended up going to.
Okay. And what was that training like? Was it intense, or was this at the
yeah. Oh no, the training beforehand was in New Zealand.
Okay.
But while I was training with Fale, told me all the squats that we had to do, the push-ups, the sort of training drills that they do in the dojo.
Okay.
So every day I'd do, 500 to 1,000 squats just to prepare for it, which is what they do at the dojo now.
So what was that feeling like? What was that feeling like knowing that when New Japan took you and they wanted you, when they signed you for to be a part of New Japan Pro Wrestling, because there's a lot of talent there. So what was that feeling like when you initially signed with them?
Oh man, it was a whirlwind. At the time that I got the call up for them, I was actually in Florida,
Okay.
looking to be signed by a different company, which I'm sure you're aware of.
Yes, I did read about that.
Yeah. So I was in Florida. I met up with Bushwhacker Luke, who he said he'd get me a spot in the performance center. So I went there, and then that exact day, Fale called me and said there was a spot at the dojo.
Okay.
So all these years I've been training to come to New Japan. For the trial that I went to, I didn't actually make it. I was rejected the first time.
Oh, okay.
So I thought, well, I'll go to America, see what happens then. Ended up going to the UK, Ireland, and then US to try find an opportunity. You know, went around hunting. Didn't want to take no for an answer, and then sure enough, Fale calls me and says, there's a spot at the dojo, and I've been here ever since.
So you got the spot and you become a young lion. So, what's life like as a young lion? It seems like it's a rough life because I'm watching when I watch and I see the young lions continually they're getting attacked by Minoru Suzuki keeps taking them out and so what's life like as a young lion?
Oh man, that Suzuki beating everybody up is the tip of the iceberg for what it is, how tough it is to be a young lion. Just to give you an example, most people quit. Most people run away from the dojo.
Okay.
So, yeah, new people that start, usually they can't take the squats or they can't take waking up in the morning, doing the work, cooking the food for all the seniors. And often you'll find they've left their keys outside the door and they've just ran away. But for the people that do stick with it, for the people that don't give up, obviously you've seen everybody come through the system, man. It's tried and true. Look at Jay White, what he's doing now.
So, what were your initial matches for New Japan? I know as a young lion, you rarely see a young lion win. But what were those first matches like? Were you nervous? And I know you took on other young lions, and as well as veterans. Early on, and I know we're going to talk about Tomohiro Ishii shortly. But early on, who were some of your favorite opponents when you were a young lion?
It was I'll hit two birds with one stone here. It was both my favorite wrestler in the world, as well as my favorite person that I wrestled, and that was Yuji Nagata.
Okay.
So, like you said, I was completely nervous. I was as stiff as a piece of wood, man.
Wow. that's
nervous.
That's a tough guy, man. That's another tough dude. So what was so when you went one-on-one with him, what was you said you were stiff as a board, being nervous.
Stiff as a wood. Yeah.
Stiff as wood. So, what was the match like from start to finish? What was going through your head?
I was like a rock. So, I'm not sure if you know about wrestling technique, but the tighter somebody's joints and arms are, the easier it is to move them around.
Okay.
But the harder it is for them to move to you. So I was so nervous, I froze, my whole body froze, and I couldn't move. The guy ended up beating the crap out of me. And then I learned that I had to relax a lot more, which I still struggle with now. If you see my matches, I'm a lot too aggressive. It's my big flaw, but also one of my big reasons I do well.
Yeah, no, and you're like I said, now when I watch the matches, you're extremely aggressive in the ring, and it's always a treat to watch Toa Henare in the ring, and like I said, you're a young superstar up and coming, and I'm looking forward to the upcoming Wrestling Dantaku shows that are coming up, and I know you said that you don't normally look at the matches, and so if you don't want to talk about them, I won't. I don't know if you know who you're going up against, because I did look at the schedule. But we have some good matches coming up. So the name Toa Henare, that you always didn't go. I think you went by Aaron Henry for a bit. How did you come up? Yeah. How did you come up with the name Toa Henare?
I get this question a lot. So my actual real name, my Māori real name, is Henare.
Okay.
My family name. But back in the 60s and 70s in New Zealand, it was illegal to speak Māori in the schools.
Okay.
So yeah, it was I don't want to bring it into a colonization debate, but pretty much my family changed my name to English. So my name on my passport is Henry.
Okay.
But my real name is Henare. And the name Toa, my first name's Aaron, But the name Toa is a title given to warriors. It means warrior.
Okay.
So in Māori Pacific Island culture, Toa means warrior.
Okay.
And anyone with the name Toa, you could pretty much derive that their bloodline were from warriors. So that's the name I wanted to go with.
All right, there you go.
Yeah.
And as a young lion, I know some young lions go on excursions, and I was doing research. I was trying to see if you actually went on an excursion, but then I read that you were badly injured in 2017, which you mentioned a little earlier.
Yeah.
So tell me about that injury. It was Tomohiro Ishii you were going against. I think it was Achilles heel. So how did you get injured? And that must have been heartbreaking for you, because I know you're out for a couple of months.
Yeah, man, it was. It was absolutely heartbreaking. I was doing pretty well. Me and Oka were having quite a few good matches together. We were both coming up, both getting better. But I think I pushed the training too hard. I didn't have any rest days for about a month, and I trained about twice a day. I was just trying to overdo it. I thought I was Goku, Super Saiyan. Thought I was undefeatable, and then I think it all just stacked up on each other, and during the match, about 2 minutes into the match, took a step and my whole Achilles snapped. Rolled up my calf, and I was out for 9 months altogether.
Wow.
5 weeks in hospital, which was the toughest as well.
Sure. So, tell me about the rehab. How difficult was it to rehab from that injury? I know you were, like you said, you're out for 9 months. So what did you do to rehab that? And were you able to finish your rehab quicker than expected, or was it exactly the amount of time that they anticipated, or how did the rehab go?
I think it was a bit longer than anticipated, actually.
Okay.
I got surgery in Japan. And if you know anything about Japanese people, you know they like to be safe about everything. So I was in hospital for 5 weeks, like I said earlier. So throughout that whole time, I couldn't really rehab. It was more just mobilization stuff. And then I got sent back home to New Zealand for my actual rehab, which took about 7 months complete.
Okay.
I think during the tag league I wasn't 100%, but I was good enough that I could wrestle.
Okay.
But right now it's all healthy, stronger than ever, getting back to my weightlifting stuff that I usually do.
All right, and
so now I'm all right.
That's good, man, and that must have been a terrific feeling when in your first match back from injury, stepping into that ring for the first time. It must have been. And who was your opponent the first time coming back? Was it Oka? Did you go up against Oka again, or who was your first opponent?
No. It was the tag league match against.
Oh, the tag league. Okay.
Suzuki-gun.
I got you.
Yeah, it was scary actually. First match back, and I have Lance Archer and Davey Boy on the other side of the ring. And they tore my leg up that match, man. I think they really wanted to test me.
Yeah, those are the Killer Elite Squad. Those are two bad dudes, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to. And I know Lance Archer likes to make kids cry, which is a great heel stuff. But you got those kids crying.
Oh man, I don't even think he's trying to be a heel. I think he does it because it makes him laugh.
Okay.
He's always posting, like every day. I think I saw on his Twitter last week or the week before, he's just posting pictures of him yelling at kids and the kids crying. I think he just enjoys it, man.
Yeah, well, it's good stuff, man. It's good stuff. So let's talk about Tomohiro Ishii for a little bit, because I know anytime you and two get in the ring, and it's usually it's always like a tag team, either 3-on-3 or 2-on-2 or 4-on-4.
Yeah.
But when you guys get together, my God, you guys are just plastering each other, man. And like, does he hit as hard as it looks? Because it seems like he's just unloading on you, and you're. I know you're unloading back, but Jesus, man, you guys are just absolutely plastering each other, man.
Yeah. I don't think strong style is meant for people who want to last long.
No, man.
But no. It's every time he hits me, it just reminds me I'm here. I need to be here. This is where I belong. And I got to prove myself. But then I think even though it does hurt, even though he does beat the crap out of me, he does bring the best out of me as well.
Yeah, man. It's like, I think there was one match, I can't remember exactly, I think it might have been the New Japan Cup, or, oh no, maybe it was, Actually, I can't remember. He had you against the corner, and he was just like unloading right near your throat over and over again.
Yeah, man.
And I felt them through my computer. My chest was hurting, man. I was like, how is Henare taking that? But no, you took it. You came back, and you usually give as good as you get, which is great. So you must have his respect. You must have Tomohiro Ishii's respect for taking all that.
I don't know. He doesn't really say anything. I don't think he said a word to me. But he's someone who's hard to win over.
Okay.
In the back, he's always quiet. He never talks to anyone apart from the Chaos guys. So It's hard to tell. I don't know if I've got it yet, but I know I will in the future.
So why do you think you two have something special? And it's like you always they're always throwing you guys together. Is it because you're both aggressive? You both you like to plaster each other and throw stiff shots, or what do you think makes it so special when you two guys get together?
I don't know, man. I think it's just that organic chemistry that some people have, some people don't. I think it might be he was one of the first Wrestle Kingdom matches that I watched live. Maybe something subconscious like that, or I think we're both. I'm not going to say we're both tiny, but we're both a lot smaller than most of the heavyweight guys. So I think, by smaller I mean shorter. But just that pitbull mentality, man.
Sure.
I've always loved that. I've always been like that. He's always been like that his whole career. He's always been the little guy going up against the big guys. I've always been the underdog going up against the tougher guys.
Sure.
I think it's just a generational thing. We're just each position of our respective generations.
So the next question is, when are we going to get a one-on-one match between Toa Henare and Tomohiro Ishii? I hope they're leading up to that, because we're always seeing tag team matches, as I mentioned, but I hope we're going to get a one-on-one match in the near future between you two, because I think it would be absolutely incredible.
Oh, man, I hope so, too. I've been waiting a long time for it since... I think November, December last year when we first had our exchange. But I haven't had many singles matches, so ranks-wise, he's still far away from me in that regard. I've only actually had 2 singles matches since I've returned.
Okay.
Which has sucked, really, but hopefully they'll feed me more later.
So I know, like you said, you've been... a lot of tag team matches. I know you've teamed with Togi Makabe. I've seen you with Jay White and David Finlay and Juice Robinson. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite partner right now? And maybe have you thought of... Okay, I'll let you answer that question first, and I'll ask you the next one.
Yeah, hands down Makabe. I learned more from him in the 3 weeks of last year's tag league than I had any other time combined.
Yeah, and I had a feeling you were going to say Makabe, so that's why my next question is, do you have Sonata and Evil in your sights, possibly going after the tag team titles?
I'd like to. I've still got a long way to try and live up to what Hama did with Makabe in terms of just experience, I think. Both of them have been in the business for a long time. I still got quite a lot to learn, but it's not going to stop me trying. If they put me in a match with Evil Sonata, I'm going to take it.
Of course. What about Hiroki Goto? I think you against Goto for the Never Openweight title would be a tremendous match as well.
It's definitely a dream match in the future. I came to New Japan with my goal as that belt. So I was always wanting to get into that, strong style competitor. It's the reason why I came to Japan. It's the reason why I wanted to come to Japan over America or UK.
Okay.
So, man, yeah. Definitely my long-term goal is just to be one of the best strong-style guys in history.
Okay. Yeah, there you go. You're well on your way, man. You're well on your way. Trust me. I watch you, and like I said, I have New Japan World. It's the only way I can watch New Japan, but you're well on your way, man. I get excited when I see, especially when I see Toa Henare on one side and Tomohiro Ishii on the other side. I'm like, all right, I get excited when I see that. So,
me too, man. Me too.
And what about Okada? How do you think you fare against Okada? I know he's got that 11 title 11 successful title defenses. He's going to go try to break it against Tanahashi. But what about Okada? How do you think he would fare against him?
He's on a different level. He's something else. Everything he does, it doesn't even look like he's trying, right? But it's just amazing. He's on a whole different level.
Sure. No,
everybody knows it as well.
Yeah,
I have no idea who's going to dethrone him either.
No, I don't. I thought that maybe Zack Sabre Jr. might have a chance. I was actually thinking that Sabre Jr. might tap him out, but then Okada hits the Rainmakers a number of times and he gets the win. He's just like you said. He's in a level all by himself. I think he's definitely one of the best, if not the best wrestler in the world right now. I don't think Tanahashi's going to beat him, but we'll find out. I really am looking forward to that match.
The thing that gets me with Okada, just beyond his reign, is that he puts on the best matches in the world every night.
Yeah,
and he's never been injured, never.
I never realized that. So he's never been injured. That's tremendous. I mean, he just 30-40 minutes, and he's just it's like words can't describe how great Okada is. I know this podcast is about Toa Henare, so I don't want to get into too much about Okada.
No problem.
Yeah, but he's great wrestler. Definitely. I mean, when you look at other promotions, I don't think anybody comes close to being as good as Okada right now. So
he's taken the company far all around the world, and even though he's in chaos, I still appreciate what he's done for the company.
Yeah, no, it's a great talent there. What about, I wanted to ask, Minoru Suzuki, what happened if Toa Henare went 1-on-1 with Suzuki?
So you haven't seen the videos from the Australia tour?
Oh no, I did not. Did you? I'm sorry. I think it's on New Japan World. I just never got around to watching it. They put it on late, so no. So if Hanare's mixing it up with Suzuki, I'm gonna definitely get to watch that. But so how did that go? What was it like being in the ring with Suzuki?
Scary as hell. Suzuki, along with Sakuraba, were two of the people that I wanted to be.
Okay.
So being in the ring, obviously, same as Nagata, I was nervous as hell. He ended up slapping the crap out of me. But it was a good exchange, and the crowd in Australia absolutely loved it. I mean, fought as hard as I could, but obviously couldn't take the veteran. But man, if I could get anywhere near what Suzuki is like, I'd be happy.
So we talked about Suzuki. You talked about getting slapped around by Nagata and Ishii. How long does it take for you to recover from these matches, especially against Ishii or even Nagata? I mean, when you're getting hammered, does it take a few days to recover, or are you hurting for a couple of days, or how long does it take to recover?
Sometimes it's sort of during the tour you don't feel the sting as much, and then you come back and you rest.
Okay.
And all the head sort of dizziness starts coming, and you think, oh man, I'm concussed. But luckily I wasn't concussed. I was just tired from the tour. But I think the throat, I don't know if you could hear how croaky my voice is, but the more matches I have with Ishii, the croakier my voice gets. I love singing country music, or at least I used to like it before I started having matches with Ishii.
Okay.
No, I can't sing an octave to save my life.
Oh, okay. I was going to ask you to sing your favorite song right now if you wanted. I was going to let you sing a song if you wanted to, but if you feel you can't do it. If you can't do it, we'll blame Ishii, and maybe next time we'll get you to sing a country song on the next podcast.
It's early morning. I think my singing's best done after 10 p.m.
Yeah, sure. That's right. It's April 11th here. It's April 12th there. It's 9:30 in the morning there. So
morning, yeah.
So what's life like in Japan? I know I'm here in Canada, Toronto, Canada right now. So I know you're from New Zealand, moving to Japan.
Yeah.
What was the initial move like? I'm sure you had a lot to get used to going from New Zealand to Japan.
Kind of. When I moved to Japan, I moved straight to the dojo. I was the only. By this time, David, Jay, and Juice had moved out of the dojo, so I was just a Kiwi kid stuck in the dojo with a house full of Japanese kids.
Okay.
in saying that, I didn't leave the dojo for about 2 months. So I was in the
Okay.
building for 2 months. Didn't go outside, didn't do anything, just because I wanted to prove that I
Okay.
wanted to be here. I do not recommend that to anybody if they want to keep their sanity.
Okay. Gotcha.
But the training was the hardest to get used to. I don't know if you've heard, but they train ridiculous over here. Every day you could do about from 800 to 2,000 squats, depending on how angry the trainer is on the day.
Wow.
200 or so lion push-ups, neck bridges, the rope climbs that you guys do over in the States.
Sure.
Bunch of stuff. But it's all about mental training.
Wow.
It's all about if you could get through this training, you could get through being a pro wrestler.
Yeah, it seems like the training's pretty damn intense over there at the New Japan Dojo. Like I could barely do 2 squats, so I don't think I'd survive in the in the New Japan Dojo. But I want to ask about the States. I know Ring of Honor has the working agreement with New Japan Pro Wrestling right now. Any interest in possibly maybe, I know the War of the Worlds tour is upcoming, and Los Ingobernables de Japan is going to be a part of that. But have you ever thought about, hey, I'd like to be a part of a Ring of Honor tour in the States one day?
Yep. I have. I've thought about it. I'd love to do it. I haven't actually ever wrestled in the United States before.
Okay.
So that'll be great.
Yeah, no, I know you have some experience. You took on Beer City Bruiser when Ring of Honor was here, which was another great match. I thought you were going to pull that one out, but the Bruiser.
Yeah, me too.
Bruiser got you on that one. He was actually on the show. He's actually one of my first interviews since I started doing the podcast. Good guy, really good guy. But it's a good match. Again, I was kind of hoping you would pull it out, but you'll get him. You'll get him again.
Top rope frog splash, man.
Oh yeah, that frog splash.
I didn't think he was going to go up for it.
I've seen him frog splash Jay Lethal through a table, sitting up Jay Lethal on the outside, and he off the top turnbuckle and leapfrogged and splashed him right through the table. So he's not afraid to do those frog splashes. People see the size of him and they're like, oh, he's not going to go to the top and do anything, but he does it. He goes up there. He's a very, very talented wrestler, and again, it was a great match. You'll get him in the rematch, though. You'll get him in the rematch.
Yeah, it was my first singles match back since I think a whole year before. It was the week of last year's ROH tour that I got injured, so that was my first singles match.
All right. Now, I mentioned the States. Do you watch any product from the States, like Ring of Honor? There's Impact Wrestling, of course. You have the WWE, NXT, but do you watch any of the current products in the States right now?
Recent? No, I don't really watch recent wrestling that much, but I do watch 60s and 70s a lot more.
Okay.
Unless I'm about to have a match with somebody, so Beer City Bruiser, I heard somebody told me I had a match with him, so I started studying up on him, seeing what he does.
Yeah.
But I think my friend was at WrestleMania just a few days ago. She was in the women's battle royale, I think it was, Dakota Kai.
Oh, okay, yeah,
so
sure, of course.
Another one of the people from that class in New Zealand.
Okay.
So I think if my friends or something, friends or someone I know, or someone that I know of is wrestling, then I'd watch it.
Okay.
But usually I just watch kickboxing and MMA and jiu-jitsu videos.
Okay.
That's sort of my fun time.
So you're a UFC fan then? You watch UFC and?
I not so much recently.
Okay.
It's got a bit pro wrestling-y for me.
Okay, yeah.
So watching the whole McGregor thing just looked like a WCW backstage brawl.
Yeah, no, I was like, what's going on there? I'm with you. I used to watch it, George St. Pierre when he was a champion. I watched it, but it's become I don't know. You're right. It's become more. I don't know what McGregor was thinking. I mean, throwing I think a barricade through the bus, and that was ridiculous. I don't know. I can't get into that, so I'm not. Not really watching that much anymore. So before I let you go, because I'm sure you got things to do. You probably got some training. What do you hope to accomplish by the end of this year? Do you want your first title match? What do you hope to accomplish by the end of 2018?
Oh, a lot. I want a championship. I want at least the Never Championship or the Never Six Man. Anything.
Okay.
I want to be in the G1. I want to win the World Tag League this year.
Okay.
All the goals. I know I won't get all of them, but if I get just one, then I've beaten where I was last year.
What about a shot at Jay White in the U.S. Title?
Yeah, of course. I think to do that, I'd have to do a few matches in the U.S. first.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Which I'd like. Everybody's still trying to figure Jay out, so.
Yeah, he had a good little run.
He's changed a lot since when I first came to the dojo, he was a nice guy, but now he's a bit cocky now, but,
yeah.
You know.
Yeah, he was...
He's another Kiwi guy, so got to give him the benefit of the doubt.
I know he was on excursion. He was with Ring of Honor. He wrestled up here in Canada for Smash Wrestling, so he had put on some good matches. And then he went back, became Switchblade, and you're right, his whole persona changed. And I'd like to maybe you need to get in the ring with him and set him straight. Who knows?
Yeah.
All right,
it'll be good, man.
All right, man. Well, anything you want to plug before we wrap this up? Anything upcoming matches or anything?
Oh man, I'm like you. I'm waiting out for that Ishii match, and if everybody could tune into that, then when it gets announced, watch it.
Yeah, no, I keep checking. I keep checking the schedules to see if it's announced. But yeah, it's gonna. I'd say before the end of this year, we're gonna have that one-on-one match for sure. I hope. That's what I'm hoping for. Trust me, when that match happens, you're gonna get a number of Facebook messages from me congratulating you on that match. But Toa, I just want to thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. And anytime you want to come back and talk about anything, feel free. It was great having you, and I wish you nothing but the best of luck in your New Japan professional wrestling career.
Thank you very much. And if anyone wants to keep in touch or keep up to date, then all my social media is at Henare NZ.
All right, there you go. So go ahead, give Toa Henare a follow on that was Facebook or Twitter? I'm sorry.
That's everything.
On everything. So follow him on Facebook, follow him on Twitter. Trust me, you're going to be hearing a lot about this guy, and he's going to hold the title before the end of this year. And I'm making the prediction right now. You're going to have a championship before the end of this year in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Again, I want to thank my guest today, Toa Henare from New Japan Pro Wrestling. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. My name is Louis Carlin. This is the Pro Wrestling Personified Podcast. And until next time, take care, bye-bye, and stay safe, everybody. So long.